So I just got done harvesting a bunch of my herbs. I'm trying to make it a goal this year to periodically harvest herbs instead of doing it all at once at the end of summer. That way everything can be harvested and regrow, and I can get a lot more harvested than I normally do and preserved. I get a lot of questions about how I preserve my herbs and just a lot of different things. And so I'm going to show you what all I harvested today and how I'm going to store them. Okay, here is my little harvest. So this is catnip. This is grapefruit, mint, roses, dill, sage, broccoli, garlic scapes, chamomile, basil, and then I picked 2 garlic just to see how they were doing. They're getting bigger. I'm making the boys' tea. So if you hear that, that's what that is. And I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with all this. Okay, so the broccoli, I am just gonna soak for a little bit in cold salt water in case there's any bugs in it to get them out. I haven't had any bugs in them yet, but just in case. And then I have a bag of broccoli in the fridge, and here in a couple of days I will just blanch them really quick once I have a full bag, and then put them in the freezer because I have more broccoli right now than we will eat fresh, and so I will just blanch and freeze the broccoli, which makes it really easy. And then for all of my other herbs, so this is all sage and it is so pretty. It's 3 different kinds. This I think is a tricolor because some of them do have a little bit of purple on them, and then this is like a purpley blue, and then just regular green sage. These I'm just going to split into 2 bundles and tie them like this, and then I will tie them, and I just use like a cotton string, and then I have a pot hanging rack that I will just hang them on. You could hang them on anything. You could stick a thumbtack on your wall and hang them from that. You don't need anywhere fancy to hang them from, as long as they can just hang and get good air circulation to dry. So that is what I do with those. Once they're dry, I will strip the leaves off the stems and put them all in a jar. I have some sage drying right now, so I'll just add it all together. I'm going to do the same thing with this catnip. I've heard it is good for tea. I have not had it, but I'm gonna try it. So we'll do that with that. My basil, I'm just gonna wash and bag and put it in the fridge so we can eat it this week on salads and whatever. So the only things I'm not gonna hang to dry, my dill and my little chamomile flowers, which I don't have much of, just a couple handfuls. I'm gonna put those in the dehydrator on low because they're so tender. Hang drying them just doesn't work as well as it does with the more like woody herbs like sage and rosemary and stuff like that. So those I will hang dry. These are garlic scapes, which if you don't know what garlic scapes are, when your hard nut garlic grows, it will send up a flower stalk, which is this, the scape. So this will become a flower right here. If you're growing it for the garlic, you don't want it to do that because then it takes energy away from the bulb and it won't get as big. You want the bulb to get as big as possible. So you cut these. These have a mild garlic flavor. Some people pickle them. People make pesto out of them. I don't really have enough to do anything. This is all I have. So I am just going to dry them, and then I will grind them into garlic powder. I'm also experimenting with using the greens tops off of my garlic as garlic powder, drying them because they do have a garlic taste also. So these garlic, I will cut these greens off.
Can you get us some vitamins?
and I will hang them to dry. And then grind them into powder. Okay, so the other thing that I will also dry is these rose petals. I will either use these for making body lotions, stuff like that, or I will use them in teas. I don't really know yet how good they're gonna taste. This one is so pretty. Some roses, all roses are edible. Some are bitter, and some are not. I don't know which kind these are, so I'm just gonna experiment and see. This darker one is a wild type of rose that we have a bunch of on our property. And then all of this grapefruit mint, I will also just hang to dry. Another way you can preserve things, I did this earlier. So this is olive oil, and inside the olive oil are a bunch of dried lilac flowers. So it'll make a lilac infused olive oil, and my mother-in-law is going to use it to make soap. So it'll smell really good. So that is how I currently preserve all of my herbs. A lot of it is experimenting, like with the garlic greens. For garlic powder, that's totally an experiment. I will update how it turns out, but it seems wasteful to not use them. And they do have a garlic flavor, so I think it should work. Yeah, so this is just a small fraction of the herbs I do have growing. But for now, it's everything that's big enough to collect. So this is a purple basil, and this is what earwig damage looks like. These basils actually aren't even out of the seed trays yet, and they're already getting ate. And then I have some holy basil, a whole bunch of different kind, but these were all starting to flower. And so I picked the flower tops off. It'll make the basil get bushier, and it'll still taste good through the summer as long as you keep picking all the flowers off before they get to open. Okay, so these are our dehydrator trays, and this is everything we decided to put in the dehydrator.
And these are rose leaves, and these are two rose leaves again.
Rose petals?
No, these.
Okay, can you tell us what we're gonna do with the rose petals first?
We're gonna make them out of bubbles and tea.
Make bubble bath and tea out of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we can also make soda out.
Soda?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Okay, what else do we have?
What are these?
Do you remember what it's called?
No.
Dill.
Dill.
Okay, just set it up there.
What are we gonna call the dill?
Those we use for cooking.
Well, we use the dill for cookies.
Cooking. Okay, can you tell me what else we've got?
What is it dill? What's the name of these?
Do you remember what it is, Riker?
No.
Chamomile.
Chamomile.
And that we use for tea.
Oh, what it did? What it did?
Right, do you remember what that one is? Holy basil.
Holy basil.
Yep.
We're gonna use those. Maybe we can...
Careful with it, Waylon.
Maybe we can also use these to make cookies out of it.
Maybe. Okay, put it on. Can you show me how this trays go? Waylon, let go. Okay, hold on, Max. Careful.
The last one.
Okay, yeah, you're spilling everything.
Can I
Hold on. Okay, so the trays all stacked together, and then we'll put them on the heater part and turn it on to the lowest setting. Okay, so this is the dehydrator we have. This just goes on top of here. And then we'll leave it on the lowest setting. I do have another dehydrator too. They can be kind of expensive new, but I see them at the thrift store, Goodwill, wherever, often for really cheap, so I would look there first. Certain things in here are going to dry slower than others, so I will just check on it every so often, but most of it will probably take about 24 hours. And that is that. Okay, so here's how we hang everything. And as you can tell, these are drying really well. And these garlic greens are drying really well too. So that'll stay there till it dries. The parsley I just put up yesterday and it's starting to dry well. And then once they are dry, dude, are you okay? So once they're dry, we strip them from their leaves and they get put in a jar and then labeled. It's that easy. They'll last just about forever in there. And then they all just get stored on the shelf with everything else.
Thank you for watching.
And if you like our video,
If you like our videos, thumbs up.
please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Thank you.
Thank you.